Hi Jessie.
Hi.
Do you know the case of modern architecture versus vernacular architecture has always been a hot debate topic among Malaysian scholars nowadays?
Yeah, I know because modern architecture is now getting popular in Malaysia and can now be commonly seen in everywhere. But Shen, actually what is the difference between vernacular architecture and modern architecture?
What I know about vernacular architecture is their building design will relate to their environment and available resources. But for modern architecture, their building design are usually based on aesthetic value, fashionable architecture style, and combined with functionalism.
Oh, I see. So, based on your explanation, it seems like vernacular architecture is more suitable in Malaysia's climate. So, should we preserve vernacular architecture in the future development of our country? However, why modern architecture is now more in trend instead of the vernacular architecture, which is more suitable in tropical climate?
I think we should discuss about this.
Sure. So in tropical regions like Malaysia, which is hot and humid in climate, it needs a high quality in terms of natural ventilation to provide a space which is more comfortable for the users. So vernacular style of architecture is best fit in tropical climate because of the climatic responsive design that consider the wind, sun, and also rain factors. So for example, direct solar radiation is controlled by using the long facade facing north and south direction, and also the short facade facing east and west direction. And besides, the major concern in providing effective natural ventilation is in the planning and the building layout. So they use the minimal partition and interior walls within the space so that the wind will not be blocked by the inner walls. Moreover, the elongated open plan, which ensures the cross ventilation because of the easy passage of air. In addition, house that is built on stilts also helps the building to capture the wind in a higher velocity because the wind usually will increase according to the altitude. And also the openings, which is divided into three components, which is top, middle, and bottom, in which the middle and the bottom part will be operated separately according to the user needs, while the top part is carved and opened widely at all the times.
I think that vernacular natural ventilation is very good because compared to the modern architectural style, the 90% indoor are usually air conditioned. Which nowadays people prefer to use air conditioning instead of natural ventilation. But actually, it causes harmful to the environment because the carbon dioxide gases and also other harmful gases that released by the air conditioning are trapped onto the earth and cannot escape through the atmosphere layer, and it will cause the global warming on our earth.
But why vernacular architecture is now getting forgotten by the people nowadays?
I think because people nowadays dislike the getting in of the air pollutants, noise, or the insects to the inner space. And also the vernacular architecture open design will reduce the privacy of the user and also creating some possible security problems.
Yeah, that's right. And in contrast, modern architecture has provided the building with the exceptionally beautiful design with the use of glass, which allows the penetration of light without any disturbance and gives a sense of perfection to the users. But in my opinion, this kind of modern design is more suitable in the Europe climate, which is cold and without excessive sunlight.
Yeah, I agree with this. Which is Malaysia, which is in tropical region, the overuse of the glass will bring out a lot of negative impact, not towards to the environment only, but also user itself.
On the other hand, vernacular architecture gets fully use of the local materials that can be obtained easily, and also the use of local techniques to build the house, for example like the lightweight materials like bamboos and timbers, because they can cool down rapidly during the hot temperature, and they are also renewable, organic and biodegradable compared to those industrially produced materials, making less environmental impact to the surrounding nature that contributes to a better living environment for the humans. And so this kind of local materials are transportation free and low energy intensive production process results in the low embodied energy and also the low emission of carbon dioxide gases, especially for the wooden construction that allows prefabrication, which can reduce the constructional waste, and it is able to be replaced piece by piece during the maintenance progress. So local material has greater adaptability with the local climate, and also the durability can be increased.
So in contrast, modern architecture use high-tech material which require large energy on the transportation from the extraction point of raw materials until the finished product. Modern style architecture uses a lot of glass as facade materials for the overall beauty, which it has made the building vulnerable to the fluctuation of temperature outside. And as a result, the inner space of the building will have to rely on the use of air conditioning system for indoor comfort. This greatly increased the energy consumption of the building. In addition, the excessive use of concrete in modern architecture also will cause harmful to the environment because but during the process of producing the concrete, it will produce a lot of industrial waste and also a lot of water that will use up, that will cause pollution for the water.
But still, vernacular architecture is recommended in tropical regions and in consideration of many aspects such as the rate of employment and also the preservation of the local heritage and also the cultural legacy, and in the matters of health and sustainability.
But people still prefer modern architecture because the material they use, which the concrete, are more durable and also more cheaper than the vernacular architecture materials.
Yeah, you got the point. But this will also increase the use of air conditioning systems, and in long term, this will increase the cost of the building too.
So in conclusion, it seems like vernacular architecture material are still more sustainability than the modern architecture.
In consider of the long-term sustainability. Besides, the most significant characteristics of the vernacular architecture is the roof shape, which is double slope roof that helps in ventilation by provision of ventilation joints and panels in a roof construction. The opening of the double slope roof on both sides allow air to freely flow into the room. And another characteristic is that the gable end is able to cool the entire interior spaces of the house by allowing the air movement to flow freely into the roof space. And furthermore, vernacular architecture style of roof has a large and wide overhangs which provide good protection against heavy downpours, rain, and good shading. And lastly is the steep roof, which helps in the draining off of the rain falling quickly.
So in contrast, modern architecture usually have flat roof and the skyline of the roof are usually just horizontal, which is not very suitable for our country because our country are usually tropical climate, which will always have heavy rain and harsh hot sun. So the roof are playing very important part for our climate. So flat roof cannot keep the building from the harsh hot sun and also the protection from the driving rain. And without the steep angle, it's also very hard to drain the rainwater as quickly as like vernacular architecture. So based on the discussion just now, although it seems that vernacular architecture roof shape is more better in our country, but young people nowadays still prefer modern architecture roof shape, which is the flat roof, because it looks more clean and nice, and at the same time it stands out and unique.
But still, the roof design of modern architecture focus only on the aesthetical value. In tropical climate country like Malaysia, which rains a lot, we'll need vernacular types of roof design which can protect us from the rain and the sun to provide a shelter for a human.
So it's time for us to come up with a decision.
Yeah, so in conclusion, in both of our opinion, we think that vernacular and modern architecture can coexist, as one of them suits the local climate most, and another one is in the trendy of modern day that suits the modern people's taste, when done properly with a slight hand of restraint, but not just simply design it for aesthetical value only.
So in fact, the integrity of vernacular and modern architecture can be done in order to achieve the sustainability by using the best of each of them.
For example, like the materials of the vernacular architecture, which is locally available, produces less impact to the environment, while the problem of the insects, like the noise, can be solved by using modern technologies too.
Yeah, I completely agree with you that mixing vernacular and modern architecture style can still work in the tropical region as long as environmental issues are taken into consideration.
Yeah, so that's all. Thank
Thank you.
you.